Okay, so make sure your body is comfortable. Do the best you can to relax. You can take some time to really allow our body and the nervous system to arrive. It helps at the beginning to watch the body breathing without escaping into the story. And for many of us, just as we start like that, is the mind now, it's very active with random information. For some of us, the mind may be naturally quiet. Either way, in the first case, doing the best we can to watch these waves without trying to get involved with the wave. Watching them come and watching them dissipate. Bringing ourselves back to this moment and breathing awareness. And part of this arriving, it helps sometimes to notice the sensations of the contact between the body and the chair, the floor, and release holding on to the weight, allowing the body to be more like a sack of potatoes. And part of this unwinding, it helps to slightly open the jaw, relaxing the eyelids, the mask, the face. And we can now switch gears. So instead of having this narrow focus on the breath, we can open the attention like zooming out of a camera lens and being present to the totality of our experience. Sounds, thoughts, sensations. Being globally present. As far as these energies, sensation, or feelings that we may notice in the frontal line, we welcome them completely and give up trying to control them, do anything about them. Also, we tend sometimes to focus either on the thought content or if there's unpleasant sensation, some feeling content. So we hyper focus on those. This approach, we are present to the whole experience. Sounds, air, as far as these thoughts, we don't stop them, yet we don't go along with them. What's the point? Notice also if there is any subtle or distinct sense of expecting something, expecting some sensations to dissipate, or expecting some uh, special enlightened state or something. Just allowing this sense of wanting. This is wanting. Just noticing that too. Notice that besides this phenomenal content, notice that actually there is something else, doesn't matter how it's called, there's something that is simply perceiving, not as a practice, but like my cat does the same. So natural, effortless awareing is happening. So pay attention to the experience of being conscious. Sometimes we hear about these ideas of being conscious, of being aware. And at least for me, I used to twist my attention in some weird way that didn't work. Or I would try to identify awareness as something. What really helps is to let go of all that and have this open, unfocused attention. And notice this sense of aware silence. And here we can combine this witnessing meditation with Ramana's self-inquiry. You can simply use this thought, asking this question, knowing that this question is not meant to be answered with the mind. It's more meant to direct our looking towards a certain mysterious direction. So we ask ourselves, what is aware of your experience right now? If the mind produces some thoughts, like in school, even if that thought is very wise, like saying divine, universal presence, it's a thought, that's not it. So if we have thoughts answering the question, we can ask the subsequent question, to whom do these thoughts appear? And here, some of our minds, they may say, well, to me. And then we continue, okay, it appears to me, great. What am I? For some of us, these questions, they are kind of baffling the mind, and it's just some nothing comes up, nothing. It's just this nothing. It's very much it. So if nothing comes up, we simply stay as this aware nothing until some more new thoughts come, and then we can ask again. Like, what is aware of traffic sounds right now? So it's natural that sometimes in the body some reactions or sensations make themselves known. We're just allowing them to be. To whom do these sensations appear? And simply staying with this aware, open, empty space. We are already that. We are already that which is aware. So this question is meant to experientially tune into that which we are. What am I really? Am I these thoughts? Thoughts fade away and but we don't die, or we are remains. So they say that at the right time, this is the highest form of meditation. It's the most direct. We go straight for our real identity, as opposed to gazing at a statue or focusing on the breath or saying a mantra so that hopefully the mind quiets down and hopefully we notice this aware presence that is already here, that's indirect, that's suitable for minds that are very agitated. So we can't go straight for it. But when there's more quietness, this can go fast track. Other sages like Nisargadatta Maharaj, they wouldn't use this question, but they will do the same thing in a different way. They would recommend to notice what's called the I am. Not the I am as a word, but this wordless amness. So instead of being interested in thoughts and feelings, sense this wordless amness. And they recommend that this self-inquiry, it can be done, you don't need to meditate long, it can be just asked a few times, it can be in a car. This works provided that we are really interested in the question. If we are not interested in the question of what am I, other practices may help that can strengthen the interest. So once again, what is aware right now of sensations, sounds? We allow the attention to sink back from where it comes. We simply allow ourselves to be. So let's have another application of this, which is more when we are stirred. This can be used also when we are stirred. So now we are going to get stirred. Welcome in your this aware presence any aspect of your life that you suffer in that aspect of your life, you know, some lack of relationship or bad relationship or anything. Allow anything that is current in your life that some sense of suffering, some reaction about it. So welcome now whatever comes up. Images, thoughts, and reactions about that. Welcome it now for a bit. Allow thoughts that usually are going in the back of the mind, like, man, what's wrong with me? What? So tired of this. Why can't I? Whatever. So allow any inner complaining, venting. Some area where you are, I don't know, we say I'm dissatisfied, or I'm depressed, or I'm frustrated, or unhappy. So this is what we will be having, something like this, perhaps much more when we're out there in life, triggered. So as this is happening, we can ask this question now. Who is dissatisfied? Or who is frustrated? Or who is whatever the feeling is? Who is it? And here naturally comes like, well, me. What do you mean, who? Me. I am dissatisfied. So allow that to come here to say, I am, me. And now, see if you can look for this me that is dissatisfied or frustrated or unhappy with something. Try to find the me. And then if we look for it, we will find one or the other. Either some memories and images, or this me appears to be somewhere in the body. The one that is depressed or dissatisfied or afraid, see if it's somewhere in the body, and you will find some contraction, some sensation, some vague or distinct energy that answered as me. So now just stay with this, just observe this so-called me feeling, this energy, without doing anything to it. So ask yourself, am I this me in my chest or belly, or am I that which is aware of this? We now discriminate and we see there's no me in my chest frustrated. This was just some sensation with which I was identified with. then what we do now is it's not me, it's just a sensation. Open the attention. We have a choice to keep focusing on this me, small me, who is always going to be dissatisfied, to go along with it and be trying to solve it, to bring the litany of complaints or problem solve it, or reject it, or give it some substance. We can do that, or we can zoom out and go back to what we really are, this wordless endness, this aware space. Just staying as that, releasing custody over those sensations in the chest or wherever they are. To whom do these problems appear? So in this application, when we are triggered, basically, when we are triggered, usually we are churning now on a fragment, and we are contracted into a thought or a feeling. Which is what Ramana called the me thought, or a me feeling, or the ego. And by asking a question, who is suffering? This me feeling, me thought will come out more crisp, like, yeah, it's me, it's here. So then it's easier to be seen. Then we see this me, who is an impersonator. We see it from the real me, this aware presence. So in this way, this little me, the suffering me, is seen for what it is. It's a sensation or a thought. It's not the real me. And through coming it crisp and seeing it is seared or discharged in the witnessing of it. This being said, a little caution with this procedure. If somehow that particular trigger or suffering is more distinct and charged, my experience is that it needs first some more mining out, to see what it is. Oh, it's this thought. It says I'm not good enough, and then nobody loves me, and this or that. It needs to be, my experience, to process this a little bit, to know what is this contraction made of. It's a file. It's not just a contraction of the chest, it's a file. So what I'd like to do is, if I already explored it thoroughly a few times, then I can go straight into who is suffering and then be the witness of that. But if it's mysterious and it's charged, then I would do something else first. And once it gets more loose, then apply the self-inquiry. Otherwise, we might end the risk of bypassing and repressing some content. So for the last couple of minutes, Let's just enjoy this sense of effortless awareing. No thinking necessary, do nothing. Now, another thing that's worth to be mentioned is that this self-inquiry practice, self-investigation, was called as Atma Vichara, which can be translated as self-exploration, self-investigation, self-remembering, or self-abiding. And why? Because depending where we are at in our process, it's a little different. Let's say if for some of us we are, man, I know I'm not these thoughts, but these thoughts are so sticky, I'm so tired of these thoughts, I see that I'm not any of these beliefs, I'm none of this, but I don't know who I am, who am I don't know. So some of us are there, it's already very good. So we don't know really what we are, or even if we know intellectually because we heard in books, we don't, have a flavor of it. So from this point of view, this what am I, what is aware, it's a great practice, which also calms the mind, but also something will be revealed, like, oh, wow, yeah, wow, there's this emptyfulness here all the time. When I wake up in the morning before thoughts come up, there's this onness. So it may lead to glimpses or satoris in Zen, glimpses of our true nature. Now, for some of us, we already done that, and we're like, yeah, now I got it, yeah. So it's not necessary to kind of ask too much, oh, what am I, because we already got the answer, So, but the question may be like a reaffirming of like a tuning back to the aware presence as opposed to in the washing machine. So it can be like a tune-up. So in this case, this question can be without a question. We can walk about the day and we have this non-verbal impulse like, oh, remember. So we are coming back to the presence, and then we abide as that, as long as, until we forget. So this practice can change depending where we are at. We can allow gradually, unless we've already done it, eyes to open. We have this initially this misunderstanding that, well, yeah, I had it with the eyes closed, but now it's all this and I lost it. but it's not possible. We can ask ourselves with the eyes open, what is seeing now? Be curious and be interested in that which is seeing. In the fourth way, one of the masters, Peter Uspensky, he was trying to understand the explanation on self-remembering from Virgil. He was trying to understand how to get it intellectually. So he came up with this, said, oh, I understood that when this self-remembering or self-abiding is present, that the attention is somehow divided, like an arrow. Usually the attention comes from where it is, going out, or going towards a feeling. So the self-remembering is kind of like now there is some arrow of the attention going towards the source of attention. So we are seeing, so we are not lost in the images. We see images and we are also aware of the seeing. All right. Well, may it help us on the path.